What's good, fam? Agent O here, and I'm back with an action figure review. And today I have the SH Figuarts Street Fighter V Cammy figure. And I should have reviewed this back when it came out because that's when I got it, but I have been busy with work and other things that I've been kind of working on the side, so I haven't been able to do an action figure review like I would like to. And I will not lie, procrastination has gotten in the way, and Destiny has taken over my life again. So anyway, this is the box. Looks great, blah blah blah. Nice graphic designs, same as all the other boxes. It's just a different character on the box art. So let's get this open and let's get to the review, because that's the most important part. And here she is. Well, it's taking my camera forever to focus. And I'm just gonna adjust a bit. Here she is out the package, and right off the bat, I will say this is a very nice looking figure. Like I've stated before in my other Street Fighter videos, I'm not a huge fan of the art style and the body proportioning that Capcom has taken with Street Fighter V. I think, like, even though this figure does a good job of representing that art style and actually does, I think, a better job of making the character look good, look better than the actual in-game model, I still don't, not anything against the figure itself, because Figuarts did the damn thing with this figure, but I just don't like the proportions, and I don't like that she's kind of roided out. She's just gotten like really thick, and I know as video games go on, certain areas of the body get way and more enhanced than others, and I really preferred her look in Super Street Fighter 2, where you first see her. She was like a lethal gymnast, basically, I think was what they were going for. Just a very lithe, svelte body type, and they kind of just went overboard. I know the artist who's currently doing the Street Fighter games likes thicker women, and so you can tell that's what he did with Cammy as well with Chun-Li. They both, like, if you look at their legs, they both look like they're in that quad queen weightlifting competition, and they both look like they're trying to compete to win that, because they both have really thick legs. I think my favorite look for Cammy physically was in the Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD remix. I really like the way they did her sprite. I think it looks closest to how she originally appeared in the game. It's kind of like a cross between how she looks now and how she first looked back in the first game. I'll post a image of that in this video at some point, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But I like the way they drew that sprite. You can see her musculature is really cut up and really defined, but she's not super thick and stacked in all the areas that count for I guess, for lecherous perverted men. Lecherous perverted men like me. So anyway, like I said, this figure looks really good. It's very representative of the character model from the game, and you know, I'm not going to hold that against Figuarts for that, because they're only working off of what they've been given, and they did a pretty good job. And I don't really have too many gripes to complain about with this figure. The paint apps are pretty on point. I did get a little rubbing, like on the hat. The hat actually pops off, but like the black rim of the hat, it's got some paint that kind of rubbed off when I was messing around with the figure. But you know, details are on point. Like the little insignia on her hat is like really nice. It's like, I've got some up close pictures of it, and it looks really good. There's a lot of detail actually in there that you can't really see with the naked eye, but when you zoom in with the camera, you actually see how much, like, minor detail is in there. Paint apps are pretty on point. I kind of wish they had given the flesh areas a second coat of paint, because that green kind of shows through a bit. I mean, that's like, I mean, I know Figuarts is better than that, and that reminds me of something Hasbro would do with their Marvel Legends. I'm sorry, but yeah, they could have used another coat of paint on the flesh areas. Camera might not pick it up as much, but when you have the figure in hand, it does kind of show. Other than that though, I don't really have any other issues or gripes. They didn't do like they did the wash on the dry wash. It's kind of subtle on the legs and on the arms. Just kind of makes the musculature show a bit more. It's not horrible, and it actually makes the figure look a little bit better. You know, it's got the patented scar on her face, the eyes on her face. It's more, the face itself is more of an anime look, of course, but I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any issue, and I think it looks pretty good. It's very, very representative of the character model, and that's obviously what they were going for. Yeah, I don't have anything to really add to this figure, aesthetic wise. They did the damn good job on this. So I'm just gonna jump right into the articulation of this figure, and you've got head movement. The ponytails kind of get in the way, so you can't really get her looking up too far, but you can't get her looking down. There's no, obviously you can see from the sculpt, there's no neck articulation, so it's all up here. Her arms are on a double ball peg swivel, and they do even, you can get some rotation in the shoulder. It does roll a bit, but she does have bicep swivel to make up for the lack of the shoulder articulation, which is fine with me, because like I said in previous videos, I actually prefer a bicep swivel as opposed to all the extra articulation. But her arms do come up pretty much that high. They're not going to go up that much higher, but it's not bad. I actually, oh no, you can get it a teensy bit higher, but I actually prefer, this is fine. This is good articulation for me. Like I said, the bicep swivel more than makes up for any of the other rotation needs that you'll need with the arm. She's obviously got double jointed elbows. The sculpt of her gauntlets kind of hinders it a little bit, but you still do get a really good bend. I don't know if this is intentional, but the forearms do rotate. There is a forearm swivel, but I wouldn't force it too much, but it is there. It does turn a little bit. I don't think that's intentional. I just think that's just the way the figure was built or put together, because the forearm gauntlet is a totally separate piece, but you do have some rotation on it, I guess if you need it. Of course, she's got ball peg hands, and you know, they do rotate all around, and you do get some bend out of them. It's not too bad. She has the diaphragm joint, and she has a bit of an ab crunch, but the ab crunch by itself doesn't do a whole lot. Like you get this much of a bend back forward, and you get way more backwards. And then you combine that with the diaphragm joint, and you get a pretty decent bend. You do get a little bit of exposure in the back, but that's not a big deal. I don't really care about that. It doesn't really bother me at all. But yeah, you know, you can see all the sculpted abs and everything on there on the figure, and it works. As far as the hip articulation, they didn't use that double swivel that they usually use on the previous Figuart toys. They've just gone with a T-bar double ball peg, and she gets that much of a split, which is, I mean, you're not going to need any more than that. She can kick up pretty high because of the way they sculpted the hips. It does allow for a lot of freedom of movement. And she can kick back pretty far. The way they sculpted her butt, it kind of helps to make up for, helps to allow for more posability. And she does actually have some thigh rotation. It's in there, and you can kind of see it on the inside where the ball peg, where the socket and the ball peg of the joint meet. You can kind of see it. There is some rotation. It's not a whole lot, but you know, you get enough. There's so much freedom of movement that you can rotate the leg all the way around, and you can get some inward if you want to make her look all knock-kneed or whatever, which I can't stand. And you can rotate to have her legs pointing out just a little bit. It's not a whole lot, but it is there, and it's like just enough to get by. But it won't. It's good that it won't hinder any kind of poses you want to get her into. She does have double jointed knees as well, so you can see she gets a really good bend there, all the way back, and she does have some ankle rockage, really good ankle rockage there, and you know, it goes both ways. And her toes do bend, and she does have the toe point, of course. If you're a fan of the toe point, I don't really have an issue with it. I actually do like toe point for, you know, contrapostal poses and stuff like that. So yeah, it all works out. I mean, she's really posable, and they really did a good job of making sure you'll be able to do all the crazy acrobatic, you know, cannon spikes and, you know, cannon drills and all that she does in the game. I do want to point out that I really actually, once again, they do a really good job with the head sculpt and changing with the faces to the different expressions. Her hat her hat is pegged, so it's a square peg, and you can see the hole in her head, and you can see where the face comes off. But it's also cool because, you know, you can, if you want to do poses without her beret on, you can, but it's slotted, or it's a shaped peg, so it's only going to fit in one way. But you pop this off, and you just pop off her face. Oh my god, I can't. And you just pop on another head like so. Really easy, really simple. And the hat helps cover up that cutoff line a bit. Oops. So my eye isn't immediately drawn to where the face comes together. It's pretty nice the way they pulled that off. It's real simple, but it's super effective. And she doesn't have that many faces. She's got that side-eye glance expression. And she also has, she has the open mouth, of course, the yelling, and then she has her, and then she has her stern facial expression, kind of serious face. And that's pretty much it for her heads. There isn't really, she doesn't really come with anything else. Not that that's really necessary. She doesn't need a whole lot of facial expressions. I'm just going to go back to the default head. Throw her hat back on. And of course, she does come with effect pieces. I'll just move her out of the way for a second. This comes with this effect piece. Kind of goes in, kind of fits in, kind of like so, but it fits in over the foot. I'll have pictures of it. It's okay. I don't really care for it that much because kind of getting her foot inside of the hole is a little bit cumbersome, and then getting the pieces to kind of fit over her leg, it's a little annoying, and I feel like it could have been simpler, but or easier. It feels easier than it actually turned out to be for me. Maybe other people had really it was really easy for them. For some reason, I just didn't care for it. It's a pretty nice looking effect piece. It'll look great for any kind of poses or reenacting fight scenes and stuff. But yeah, she does come with that. Of course, she comes with the backdrop piece, you know, that all the figures come with, and she comes with a total of 3 sets of hands. She has her chopping hands. She has a pair of chopping hands, and she has a pair of flexed hands as well as her default fists. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for her accessories. Overall, I think this is actually a really good figure. I did want to do a comparison because I do have the Soda Toys version of Cammy. I can get her to stay. What'd I do with it? Here we go. Yeah, I definitely wanted to do this because I do still have a lot of respect for Soda and what they were trying to do back in the day. And yeah, I mean, this Cammy compared to new Cammy, it's what in the world? Now this figure wants to give me problems. Soda Cammy looks like she kind of needs to eat. At the time though, this was, like I said, this was a standard and I had no problems with it back in the day. It's just, you know, action figures have come such a long way, and you know, I'm actually surprised she's missing the triangle piece on her chest, but whatever. I don't even think that's on the actual video game model, but I just now noticed that that's missing. But I mean, you can definitely see the difference in sculpt. But I still have a lot of respect for Soda. This figure didn't age, I think, as well as some of the other ones, just because female body types and sculpting has come a long way from how they were doing it back in the day. You know, you had somebody who probably sculpted this figure as opposed to somebody who, I'm talking physically sculpted this figure, as opposed to nowadays they're modeling these figures in Maya or 3D Studio Max, or, you know, whatever, you know, ZBrush or whatever, you know, whatever is the standard these days for computer animation. These figures are getting done now with those techniques as opposed to how they were being sculpted by hand back in the day. So once again, I just wanted to do a quick visual comparison, and yeah, it's figures have come a long way, I'll put it that way. But yeah, obviously it doesn't hold a candle to this new figure, but it was the standard, and I still got, like I said, I still love these toys, and I kind of wish I had gotten all the ones I had wanted before they jumped in price. But if Figuarts keeps doing these figures and they keep going back and putting out at least the first 16 characters, you know, the 8 World Warriors, the 4 bosses, and the 4 new warriors from Super Street Fighter, I'll be a very happy collector, and I will definitely pick up all of those. And then they can move on to other characters that the rest of the fan base is interested in. But if they do those first 16 characters, I'll be one happy camper, and I'll definitely be in for picking up all of them. But yeah, I've got really nothing else. This is a pretty solid entry for the Street Fighter line, and I can't wait to see what they've got next. They're doing old school Akuma, thank God, because that Akuma with the huge hair is just not doing it for me. So I'll be picking up that figure, and I'll be doing a review on it. So that's pretty much gonna do it. I'll catch you guys on the next action figure review. I'm Agent O and I'm out. Peace.